Hi, my name is Teresa Jensen, and I just thought I would help demystify a little bit. I know doing an escape room is new for some of you, and whether you've purchased this product already or if you're just interested in it, you can find it on Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's El Once Ese, so the 11th of September, and it basically places your students on the 11th of September, 1973, when General Pinochet overthrows the government of Salvador Allende. It's not a political lesson at all. It definitely does not purport any particular beliefs or views or have any social or political commentary about it. It is perfectly historical, and so you can take it where you want from there. In my district in particular, we're not allowed to express political views, so really don't worry about it. It's 100% educational and should be approved and accepted by your school. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what it will look like when you do this with your students. So first of all, you will need to either print the lectura or give your students a link to the lectura so that they can open up this article. It's from BBC Mundo, which is one of my favorite resources. It is very center of the road politically on media bias fact check. It has very little bias. So it's an excellent source for you that's going to be full of information and leaving the opinions to the reader. The students are going to read the very first section, and they're going to stop right before they get to section number 1, which is, it's really only a few paragraphs. And you're going to put this up on your board, and it tells them to read the first part of the article and to answer these questions. And as they answer those questions, the circles are going to indicate to them that those letters are special. They're going to rearrange those letters to figure out what the first clue or pista is. And it is, spoiler alert, it is bandera. You can see all the students in my room working on reading that article and looking up at the board there. You may also see my computer over here on the stand where my remote learners are also looking at that as I've shared my screen with them. And then you can also see, as my students have figured out that it's bandera, they are heading over to my bandera, my flag in my room, where they will find a QR code, as well as a link if some of them don't have QR readers on their phones. And when they click on that QR code or that link, they're going to get the Google form, which gives them a digital copy of La Hoja, which is the worksheet where they will complete all their exercises. And my remote learners just private messaged me the word bandera when they figured it out. And then I just messaged them the link that they needed in order to get to that Google form and digital hoja that they had. So if all my students were remote learners, then I would do it the same way as I did today. However, I would probably put them into breakout rooms instead of leaving them all together, just working in one, just because if you have like 20 or 30 kids, they really aren't going to work together. So I would split them up into breakout rooms. My students who were doing this remotely didn't feel like they were missing out on anything from what my students were doing in class. They enjoyed it. In fact, the one that I quoted, Kenny, that said, "Can we please do more lessons like this?" was actually one of my online learners. And so it's really going to be something fun for all of your students. So let's face it, some of you guys are really sick of technology and really sick of Google Forms, and this activity can be done completely with paper and without using technology, student computers, phones, etc. And actually, that's the way that I did it a year ago whenever I first created this activity. I just took the article and cut it up into pieces and put it in stations around the room. So there were 11 different stations where they each had a section of the article that they needed to read. I printed out the hoja for them, as well as the first section of the article for them to look at in order to begin and figure out where they needed to go to do the activity. One of the drawbacks of that, though, is that they don't actually get to see if they're correct with each time where they're plugging in their clue. You could have a station on your desk where you put the answers that they could check so that they know that they're going in the right direction. But that's completely up to you. So when they get to the Google form, they're not actually going to see this because this was my way of sharing this with you. I've given you the answer sheet for La Hoja. So you're going to want to download that and save that link somewhere else and delete this question because you obviously don't want to give the students the answer key to begin with. There is also a question on there. This is obviously not something that they have to answer, click the button or whatever. It was just a way of me giving them a link to the reading and also a link to the hoja or the exercises. If you want to, you can delete that. If you want to give the kids a copy of that on their own, then you can just delete this altogether. It doesn't hurt anything though to leave it there, I don't think. Now I do have a little link there that says, do these links not work? Ask your teacher to save them on his or her drive. Sometimes districts will block files on drives that are not under your domain. So then you will probably need to copy that link to your own domain so that your students will be able to access that when they're logged in with their school ID. This is what it looks like from the students' end. So as they're looking at La Hoja, or the worksheet that you've either printed for them or that they're looking at, it's a Word document, they will see a clue, which is a paraphrase. The president never gives up. And they don't know what number, what section of the article this is referring to. And so as they look through the article, they will find, oh, Allende se niega a renunciar. Allende refuses to resign or refuses to quit. Sure sounds like the president never gives up. And so then they know that this is pertaining to that section of the article or of the lectura. So they'll write number 3 on their hoja, and then they will continue to do the exercises using that section of the article. When they finally get finished with it, they'll figure out, oh, the last letter of number 3 and the 5th letter of number 4. So they have to do those exercises to find those 2 letter clues. And then they will go to the Google form. They will select the number of that section. So it does say, El presidente jamás se rinde. They will select number 3, and then they will put, they will put the letters where it gives them the clue. Just a heads up, if they have the letters wrong, it will not let them go on. It will give them a clue, you know, hey, did you put it in caps? Did you put a space? But it won't let them go on. If they have the letter clue correct, but they have the wrong number, it's going to take them to a screen that says Lo siento and has a sad face on it. And then it will go back to the beginning. So they'll have to go back and select the correct answer before they can move on to the next section. Now, as a teacher, when you're finally looking at all of the submissions that your students have given, as you're looking at all their answers, they're all going to be correct because it won't let them go on unless they're correct. However, when you get to the end, when they get to this question, it's actually pretty cool because instead of them having to remember what all of those letters, now these were all the clues at the end of each of the sections, it gives them those clues and then tells them that they need to organize them to form 2 words. And one of the clues, by the way, did tell you or Estados Unidos. So that was a clue that had something to do with it. And it also said the second word is 6 letters. So then they know the first word must be 9 letters and the second word is 6 letters. So they had to unscramble those until they got Operación Condor, because obviously some of them got the accents in the wrong place. But then they found out, oh, Operación Condor. And then the last clue said, oh, congratulations, you figured out the secret. Who helped Pinochet with the coup and why? And these were my students' answers. So they looked it up and figured out that the United States and the CIA did not want communism. And so that was their operation for blocking communism in Latin America. And you can do what you would like from there. You definitely don't have to get into it much more than that. But so there you go. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. And I hope you really enjoy it. I know your students are gonna really love it.
If you enjoyed this lesson, I just know that you're going to love my books. Why don't you check them out at brycehedstrom.com or on Amazon. I also have novice stories on my YouTube channel, Storytime con Señora Jensen. Check them out.